The message arrived at 2:07 a.m. I was already awake. I'd been sitting on the bed, phone in hand, mindlessly scrolling, pretending the quiet didn't bother me. When the vibration came, I didn't flinch. I knew exactly who it would be. Can't talk right now. I'm not home. Please don't get upset. A moment passed. Then another notification. I'm at a friend's place. I stared at the screen until it went dark. No reason. No apology. No call. Just enough detail to ignite anxiety, the kind she'd conditioned into me over time. The kind that used to make me spiral into panic. Rapid-fire texts, unanswered calls, desperate questions. Where are you? Who's there? Why didn't you tell me? That night, I didn't send a single word. I turned the phone face down and walked into the kitchen. The microwave clock glowed 2:10 in dull green numbers. I poured a glass of water and leaned against the counter, listening to the refrigerator hum in the silence. Somewhere across the city, she was sitting on another man's couch. Maybe laughing quietly. Maybe glancing at her phone, waiting for me to explode. At 2:18 it buzzed again. I knew you'd freak out. Please don't start. I almost smiled. It was always the same pattern. Do something suspicious, then accuse me of reacting before I even had the chance. She cast herself as the victim before I could speak. Still I stayed quiet. At 2:26, another message arrived. He's just a coworker. We completely lost track of time. I picked up the phone and read it slowly. Another man's apartment. Late at night. Lost track of time. She was offering me just enough reassurance to see if I'd accept it like I always had. I placed the phone back on the counter. For the first time in months, my chest didn't feel tight or empty. It felt clear. Come. I realized how drained I'd been, constantly seeking reassurance, arguing with doubt, convincing myself not to believe what was obvious. At 2:41 my phone rang. I let it ring. At 2:45 it rang again. Then came a text. Why aren't you answering? I sat on the couch, hands resting together, breathing slowly. Every habit I'd built told me to respond, to demand explanations, to fight for something that had been slipping away for a long time. But another voice, quieter and long ignored, told me to stay still. At 3:02 a.m. her tone softened. Okay, I can tell you're upset. I shouldn't have stayed out so late. I just didn't want to bother you. That almost made me laugh. She'd bothered me for years, with omissions, with half-truths, with the constant sense that I was always second to something else. At 3:15 a longer message appeared. Please don't shut me out like this. I'm coming home soon. We'll talk, okay? Soon, not now. Not urgently. Not enough to leave immediately. That detail said everything. I finally picked up the phone and typed one sentence. Do whatever you want. I'm done chasing you. I sent it before doubt could stop me. Her reply came instantly. What does that mean? I didn't answer. By 3:24 the calls started again, one after another, buzzing across the table like something frantic and alive. I watched the screen light up, fade, then light up again. Then the cracks began to show. I don't know why you're doing this. You're acting like I cheated. You always assumed the worst. At 3:39 the truth slipped out, sharp and unguarded. He means nothing. I swear. I closed my eyes. People don't swear when there's nothing to hide. At 3:50 the messages stopped. I imagined her staring at her phone, panic rising now that the usual reactions weren't working. No anger. No accusations. No emotional chaos she could twist into control. At 4:12 one last text appeared. I'm scared you're done. That message lingered on the screen longer than the rest. Just before sunrise she came home. I was sitting at the table. The house held that fragile stillness it gets before morning. She froze when she saw me, keys still in her hand, hair slightly messy, eyes red from exhaustion or tears. You didn't answer, she said quietly, as if softness could repair what honesty never did. I know, I replied. She set her bag down slowly. Why? I looked at her and, for the first time in a long while, saw her clearly, not who I hoped she was, not who she pretended to be when things were good, but who she was in that moment. Someone who expected to disappear at 2 a.m. and return to forgiveness by dawn. I realized something tonight, I said. I've been chasing someone who keeps walking away. She shook her head and stepped closer. It wasn't like that. You're blowing this up. No, I said evenly. I'm finally seeing it for what it's always been. Her composure broke. Her voice trembled. So that's it? You're just done? I'm done chasing, I said. If you stay it has to be because you choose to, fully. Not because I begged you. She sank into the chair across from me, covering her face. For once she didn't argue. She didn't deflect. She didn't accuse. She whispered, I didn't think you'd actually stop. I nodded. Neither did I. The sun crept through the window, light spilling across the room, revealing everything the night had hidden. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt grounded. No matter what came next, whether she stayed or walked away, I knew one thing with certainty. That night I finally chose myself.